Okay, you guys are going to witness me turning this mint Bassman on for the first time. Volume's down. I checked the fuse, that's always important. Everything seems to be brand new now, which is crazy. I remember Mr. Lips, Frog's Lips, sent me a fuse holder because he noticed on my other Bassman that it didn't look vintage or vintage correct. And this is a 1959, and he sent me one that looks exactly like this. So they must have switched to one of my other Bassman, but this thing makes the other Bassman look pretty bad because it hasn't been touched. And you know the other one sounds good. Now right now he's got a 5E4 rectifier in there. I'm not sure exactly why. The only other thing I changed was the V1 was a funky little JJ ECC83S. The other two are vintage 12AX7s, USA made. He said this was a 6075, but I could not find it. Or 6070. I forgot what the lower mu tube, lower output, which is this is supposed to be a 12AY7. Right now, I put in a vintage Sylvania triple mica 5751, which is what I use in the other one. I had an extra, so I stuck it in here. That's the only change I made on the tubes, because I really don't like these JJs that much, but like I said, I always use vintage too. Now you'll notice the light bulb up here. This is a Gerald Weber trick, and probably a lot of other people. It's kind of like a fuse for the fuse. Notice I just took one of these ceramic sockets, wired one line in line with the light bulb like that. So when I turn this thing on, the light bulb will glow. And if for some reason something's shorted in there, like a capacitor, then they all need to be changed. I noticed this one's bubbled up pretty bad, and that means that they could be leaking. Hopefully the light bulb's 100-watt bulb will blow before the fuse even blows. And if this thing gets real bright, that means there's something shorted out. It usually lights up and then slowly just glows like an orange color. You'll see it. Hopefully it doesn't blow up. I should wear some safety glasses. I've never had one blow up, but you never know. Okay, so it's plugged into the light bulb. We're going to turn it on here. See? Light bulb. Right now everything looks good. Now the voltage, it's kind of like a little voltage regulator. The voltage, it's a good way to reform new caps when you do a cap job. That's why I made this thing, because it said you want to form them slowly. So I did that just so that when I do a cap job, I hit it with low voltage for a while. I think they said to leave it on for half hour or something like that. But that's a good sign right there. Now while we're waiting for this thing to warm up a little bit, I mean, you can't, this thing is like mint. You don't find these very often. I turn my reverb unit on, bring my cord over, plug it in, the bright one, and we will plug in a guitar here and just see what happens. You guys will be the first to hear it along with me. I'm not going to push it too hard. Actually, what I will probably end up doing before I play it, because this will lower the voltage too much, I'm going to turn it on, make sure the light bulb doesn't blow, then I'm going to just plug it directly into my voltage regulator. Actually, I have over there, which you can't see, let me see, Carl Hartman voltage regulator. That little box right there. I'm running this thing probably on 110 volts right now. And that's what I'll keep it at until I check all the voltages. And I'm going to put a brand new old stock Muller GZ34 in here, which is what they should have, and it should sound as good or better than the other one. So let's see. Okay, here we go. Stand by. Nice. Look at that. See, the light bulb went up. Now it's glowing. Looks like everything's in order. Another thing I'll check, which I found out one time, I've been playing my highly collectible Bandmaster for almost over a year maybe without a fuse at all. I checked the fuse was right. One day I happened to turn the amp on without the fuse in it, and the amp came on. Well, the amp's not supposed to come on if the fuse is out. So they had bypassed the fuse holder. So even though it has a fuse in it, you want to turn the amp on without the fuse in it, make sure it doesn't come on. That way you know that the fuse holder is in line with the power cord. But, alright, so what we'll do now is I will turn it off. I'm going to pull the fuse out. Now turn it on. See, nothing comes on. So that's good. Alright, put the fuse back in. And now we will plug this thing directly to the full voltage. And play with it just a little bit. Oh wait. Don't want to bypass the ground. Okay, there we go. Put it back on standby. You always want to start your amp in standby. That helps lengthen the tube life. Alright. Let it warm up again. Plugged in here. It's not going to sound quite the same being that you're hearing it from the back. But I said I did have to do quite a bit more checking. I like to look at the voltages and just be sure they're right, because they have some dropping resistors in there that they say will burn out, and that's what lowers the voltages down to the preamp tubes, and it makes all the voltages right throughout the circuit. And if those things are not right, you get some bad voltages in there and screw everything up. So you have to check those. Now let's see. I'm going to put everything kind of at 6 here. Well, now the bass I'm going to keep down. Treble 6. Volumes are all down. Here we go. Amp is on. Well, I got the fuzz on, so let's turn that off. That's why it's... That's on 2. No scratchiness. That means those Astron capacitors are in great shape. I'll tell you what, I can tell almost right now. I think it sounds better than my other one. Jeez, I don't even know if I need to change anything. One thing I noticed on the presence, there's a lot of arguments on the internet about the presence knob, and there's a resistor that on this one is soldered from one of the lugs, I think it's the wiper lug, straight to the body of the pot, which is ground. And the circuit, if you pull it off the internet, doesn't show that resistor in there, and they say that's incorrect. I don't know why they didn't put it in the circuit, I mean on the schematic. So this thing is so virgin and not untouched. I forgot to check to see. I never was quite sure if that was correct or not, all that internet stuff. But that Bassman over there, I'm not sure if it has that resistor because it'd been messed with so much that somebody probably took it out because they didn't see it in the schematic. This one has it, and it's has never been touched. I can tell. So that's on 3. Turn the other volume up. And 2 of these speaker cones haven't even been played yet, hardly. They were re-coned at Orange County in Garden Grove, California, which a lot of my speakers here have been done there. It's a great re-coning place. To say that thing sounds marvelous. tempted to turn this thing up a little bit. Imagine both of those together now. Seriously, this one is in such good shape. I think it's actually more representative of what they really sound like. I mean, all original capacitors, all original everything. So, except that rectifier sounds wonderful to me. And the seller said, you might want to just try it out like it is right now before you start changing things. I said the capacitors need to be changed, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful machine. I hope you enjoyed that. Bye.